The story of angels, both the holy and the fallen, is fascinating and full of nuances that often escape our perception. Have you ever stopped to consider the true nature of these spiritual beings? Created by God, angels play essential roles in the cosmos, divided between those who remain faithful and those who rebelled. But how does this division reflect in our lives? The Bible is filled with accounts that reveal their appearances, roles, and hierarchies, and this is where the plot thickens. Imagine an invisible army, always around us, ready to act according to divine will. How do you think the holy angels feel about serving God? And the fallen ones, how do they cope with the loss of their original glory? With a celestial battle ongoing, the figure of Satan stands out as the leader of the fallen angels, constantly trying to lead humanity astray from the path of light. In this video, we'll delve into these intriguing themes, unveiling truths that might change the way you see the spiritual world. Get ready, because what comes next might open your eyes to dimensions you never imagined. Definition and origin of angels. Angels are often described as spiritual beings created by God, and the Bible provides a rich tapestry about their existence and purpose. According to the scriptures, they were created before humanity and play a fundamental role in the divine order of the universe. The word angel comes from the Greek angelos, meaning messenger, and that is exactly what they are, God's messengers, tasked with conveying His will. This definition helps us understand that angels are not just ethereal beings, they have an active role in the divine plan. The origin of angels traces back to the very act of creation, as described in the book of Genesis. Although the Bible doesn't give us many details about how exactly God created the angels, it is clear that they were made to glorify and serve Him. Unlike humans, who have free will and the capacity to sin, angels were created with a specific purpose and are, in essence, perfect beings. This creation involves a hierarchy that was later developed into formal classifications. Beyond being messengers, angels also serve as protectors and worshippers. They are often seen in the Bible as guardians of God's people, intervening in times of need. For example, in Psalm 91, the promise that angels guard those who trust in the Lord is a clear demonstration of their protective role. This nature of angels as protectors is a fascinating aspect, making us reflect on the role they play in our lives, even though we might not always recognize them. Throughout the Bible, we find numerous references to angels in crucial moments of divine history, such as in the Annunciation of Jesus' birth, where the angel Gabriel brought the good news to Mary. This intimate relationship between God and the angels is a recurring theme, showing that despite their spiritual nature, they have a direct connection with earthly events and humanity. And so, we understand that the definition and origin of angels are more than just words, they are interwoven with the story of salvation. Understanding who angels are helps shape our view of spirituality and what it means to be under divine protection. Recognizing that they are an integral part of God's creation, we can see that their presence is a constant reminder that we are not alone in this world. Classification of angels. When we talk about the classification of angels, it's interesting to note that they are divided into distinct categories, reflecting their functions and natures. Generally, we can distinguish between good angels, often referred to as holy angels, and fallen angels, who rebelled against God. The good angels are those who remain faithful to the Creator and serve as messengers and protectors. On the other hand, the fallen angels, led by Satan, are beings who chose to oppose God's will, and their actions have significant repercussions in the biblical narrative. The good angels have various hierarchies and roles. For instance, archangels, like Michael and Gabriel, have specific duties ranging from spiritual battles to delivering important messages. Cherubim and seraphim, often associated with worship and God's presence, are also part of this classification. This diversity shows us that, just as humans have different roles in society, angels also have their respective functions in the celestial realm. Fallen angels, in contrast, are a category that both fascinates and frightens us. The story of Satan's rebellion and the angels who followed him reveals not only the nature of evil but also the consequences of the choice of free will. This division between good and fallen angels serves as a reminder of the ongoing struggle between good and evil, a central theme in biblical literature. Thus, the classification of angels is not just a matter of structure but also of morality and choices made throughout eternity. The distinction between these categories of angels helps us better understand the role each of them plays in our lives and in the divine plan. The fact that there are angels who serve God and angels who rebelled against him invites us to reflect on the nature of choices in our own lives. After all, the story of angels is, in many ways, a reflection of our own spiritual journey. Finally, this classification not only enriches our understanding of the spiritual world but also inspires us to seek the protection and help of the good angels while staying alert to the negative influences that may arise from fallen angels. The study of angels is, therefore, a fascinating journey that connects us more deeply with Christian spirituality. Nature and appearance of angels. The nature of angels is a topic that generates curiosity and often much speculation. They are frequently described as spiritual beings who do not have a physical body like humans, but this does not mean they cannot manifest in visible forms. In several biblical passages, angels appear to people, assuming forms that can be recognized. These manifestations range from common human appearances to more glorious and majestic visions, such as the seraphim described in Isaiah, who have 6 wings. The characteristics of angels go beyond mere appearance. They are beings of great wisdom and power, reflecting God's glory in their actions. The Bible mentions that they are created in the image of God, but this does not imply that they are equal to him. Instead, they are instruments of his will, with the mission to worship, serve, and protect. This spiritual nature makes them invisible most of the time, but when they reveal themselves, their presence is often accompanied by light and majesty. The appearance of angels, as described in the scriptures, also varies according to their role. While some may be seen as messengers with a serene and calm appearance, others, like the cherubim, are described with impressive and even terrifying features. This diversity of forms reflects the complexity of divine creation and reminds us that spirituality is not a uniform experience, but one full of nuances and wonders. Beyond their physical manifestations, the nature of angels is marked by their purity and holiness. They are beings who do not know sin and are, therefore, always in worship and service to God. This purity is an aspect that distinguishes them from us, human beings, who struggle daily against our weaknesses and temptations. This difference invites us to aspire to a more spiritual life, seeking the holiness that angels exemplify. In the end, the nature and appearance of angels teach us about the greatness and diversity of God's creation. They serve as a reminder that there is a spiritual world around us, which may not be visible but is always present. This awareness leads us to a greater appreciation of God's presence in our lives and of the role that angels play in our spiritual journey. Roles of holy angels. The holy angels have a variety of roles that reflect God's will and his interaction with humanity. One of the most well-known roles is that of messengers. From the announcement of Jesus' birth to guiding Joseph in dreams, angels often bring important messages that impact people's lives. This role is essential because, often, the messages from angels serve as divine directions in times of uncertainty and doubt. Another significant role of angels is that of protectors. In Psalms, we read that God gives orders to his angels to guard those who fear him. This protection is seen as an expression of God's love and care for his children. Angels act as guardians, not just in a physical sense but also in a spiritual one, helping to guide souls toward truth and God's light. In addition to being messengers and protectors, holy angels are also worshippers. They are continually in God's presence, praising and worshiping his name. This worship is not just an act of reverence but also an expression of their essence. Angels, being beings created to glorify God, teach us the importance of worship in our own lives. They remind us that worship should be a fundamental part of our spirituality. Angels also play a ministerial role in the lives of believers. They actively participate in the fulfillment of God's promises and in the administration of His blessings. This translates into a variety of actions that can include answers to prayers, interventions in times of crisis, and even the delivery of comfort in moments of pain. This active presence of angels in our lives is a way by which God demonstrates His love and care. Understanding the roles of holy angels invites us to reflect on our own role in the world. Just as angels are messengers and protectors, we are called to be instruments of love and service in the lives of others. Through their actions, angels inspire us to live in a way that mirrors their dedication and devotion to God. Fallen angels and the rebellion. The story of the fallen angels is an intriguing narrative that emerges from the pages of the Bible. The central figure of this fall is Satan, an angel who, in his quest for power and recognition, rebelled against God. This rebellion was not an isolated act. Many angels followed him, drawn by the promise of greater freedom and status. The Bible tells us that this disobedience not only resulted in their expulsion from heaven but also had devastating consequences for creation. With the fall, these fallen angels became evil beings, known as demons. The transformation of Satan from an angel of light to the prince of darkness is one of the most dramatic in the angelic narrative. This new order of beings not only opposes God's plans but also seeks to corrupt humanity, leading people away from their original creation. The rebellion of the angels is not just a matter of disobedience, it is a cosmic conflict that continues to resonate in the struggle between good and evil. The consequences of this rebellion are deep and far-reaching. The world as we know it has been impacted by the presence of evil, which has infiltrated human life, resulting in pain, suffering, and separation from God. This reality is a constant reminder that choices, both of angels and humans, carry significant weight. The narrative continues to highlight the importance of obedience and the consequences that arise when this obedience is neglected. Moreover, the fall of the angels also teaches us about the nature of freedom. Angels, like humans, were endowed with free will. The choice to follow God's will or to rebel was a conscious decision, and this freedom carries with it a responsibility. Thus, the story of the rebellion of the angels is an invitation to reflect on our own choices and how they shape our destiny. Finally, the rebellion of the fallen angels shows us that the spiritual struggle is real and constant. The battle between the forces of good and evil is not just an ancient narrative but a reality that unfolds every day. Understanding this rebellion helps us recognize the importance of our daily decisions and the need to seek the light amid the darkness. Morality and choices of angels. The morality of angels is a fascinating theme that leads us to question the nature of good and evil. Like human beings, angels possess the ability to choose between right and wrong. This choice is fundamental to understanding their actions and the dynamics of the spiritual universe. When we look at the fall of Satan and his followers, we see a clear example of how moral decisions can have eternal repercussions. Angels, in their essence, were created with free will. This means that although they were spiritual beings of great power and purity, they also had the freedom to disobey God. Satan's decision to rebel was a conscious choice, motivated by pride and ambition. This choice not only altered his destiny but also that of many other angels who decided to follow him. Morality, therefore, is an issue that transcends the human and extends to the angelic realm. The implications of the angels' choices are vast. The disobedience of a group of angels had the power to influence creation and the relationship between God and humanity. When reflecting on angelic morality, it is essential to consider that the freedom of choice is a precious but also dangerous gift. Every decision made by an angel, whether to worship God or rebel against him, reflects the complexity of the spiritual nature. And how does this relate to humans? The morality of angels can serve as a mirror for our own choices. Just like angels, human beings are confronted with decisions that can lead to light or darkness. This parallel reminds us that actions have consequences and that every choice we make can affect not only ourselves but also those around us. Finally, the discussion about the morality and choices of angels leads us to a deeper reflection on the role of free will in human life. The stories of rebellion and obedience teach us that, regardless of our nature or origin, we are all responsible for our actions and the consequences that arise from them. Morality, therefore, is a theme that unites us, both to the angels and among ourselves. Angelic hierarchy. The angelic hierarchy is a fascinating structure that reveals the complexity of the spiritual world. Angels are not just random beings, they are organized into distinct categories and classes, each with its specific functions. This organization is frequently described in ancient texts and Christian tradition, highlighting the diversity and order within the celestial realm. Archangels, for example, occupy a prominent position in the hierarchy. They are often seen as God's messengers, responsible for delivering important messages and leading angels in their missions. Michael, one of the most well-known archangels, is often associated with protection and defense against the forces of evil. The presence of archangels reminds us that the spiritual battle is well orchestrated, with designated leaders fulfilling divine purposes. Cherubim and seraphim, on the other hand, represent another layer of this hierarchy. Cherubim are often described as guardians of divine knowledge and wisdom, while seraphim are known for their intense worship of God. These classes of angels not only play distinct roles but also reflect the diversity of God's creation. The angelic hierarchy, therefore, is not just a matter of structure but of function and purpose. This organization also serves as a reminder of the order God established in all of creation. Even in the spiritual realm, where freedom abounds, there is a structure that promotes harmony and cooperation. This reality makes us reflect on the importance of order in our own lives and how this can translate into our relationship with God and with others. Finally, the angelic hierarchy is an invitation to contemplate the greatness of God and the complexity of His creation. By understanding how angels are organized and what their roles are, we can gain a broader view of the divine work and the interaction between spiritual beings and humans. This structure not only enriches our understanding but also inspires us to seek a deeper relationship with the divine. The abode of angels. Angels, these fascinating celestial creatures, inhabit various dimensions, and the question of where exactly they reside is intriguing. According to biblical traditions, heaven is the primary home of angels, a place of light, joy, and continuous worship of God. This space is described as a glorious realm where angels are in constant communion with the Creator, participating in worship and praise. They gather in heavenly assemblies, celebrating the majesty of God and fulfilling divine orders. Beyond heaven, there is earth, where angels also play an active role. They can manifest among humans, offering protection and guidance. This angelic presence on earth is often perceived in moments of need when people seek help or comfort. Angels then act as intermediaries, bringing messages of hope and encouragement. It's interesting to note that although their primary abode is in heaven, they are always ready to descend to help those in need. On the other hand, the abyss is a region associated with fallen angels. This is a place of punishment and separation where the rebellious angels, led by Satan, were cast after their fall. This concept of the abyss is not just a physical space but also a spiritual state of alienation from God. The angels who dwell in this place are in a state of despair and betrayal, completely separated from the light and divine presence. This duality between heaven and the abyss illustrates the eternal struggle between good and evil. Still, the abode of angels is not just a matter of physical location. It also represents the spiritual condition in which they exist. Angels who dwell in heaven are in harmony, serving a greater purpose, while those in the abyss live in despair due to their choices. This choice is fundamental to understanding the stories of angels in the Bible, as it accentuates the importance of obedience and worship of God. Finally, the idea that angels can move between these domains leads us to reflect on their transcendent nature. They are not limited by space or time like humans, they are spiritual beings who can interact with the physical world and the celestial realm. This ability to transition between different abodes makes angels even more fascinating, revealing their role as messengers and servants of the Most High God. Satan as the leader of fallen angels. The figure of Satan is central to the narrative of fallen angels. Once an angel of light, he became the leader of those who chose to rebel against God. The Bible describes his fall as an act of pride and disobedience, where he desired to be equal to the Creator. This attempt to usurp divine authority resulted in his expulsion from heaven, taking with him a group of angels who were also swayed by his promises of power and freedom. Satan's fall is a warning about the consequences of straying from obedience to God. Satan then became the adversary of God and humans. With his tactics of deception, he seeks to lead people away from the path of faith and truth. His influence is subtle, often disguising himself as light, deceiving even the wisest. The fallen angels, under his leadership, participate in this evil plan, creating divisions and sowing confusion among humans. This spiritual battle is a constant in everyday life, often invisible to the eyes but very real in its consequences. Satan's role is not limited to being a leader, he is also an accuser. In the Bible, we see how he presents himself before God to bring accusations against the faithful. This figure of the accuser demonstrates his intention to alienate humans from divine grace, seeking to tarnish the image that God has of each of us. This action not only reveals his malevolent nature but also highlights the importance of the redemption and mercy that God offers. In addition to being the leader of the fallen angels, Satan also promotes an ideology that challenges divine principles. He seeks to create a system where morality is distorted, leading people to question the goodness of God. This struggle between light and darkness is a constant theme in Scripture, and the presence of Satan as the leader of fallen angels is a reminder that while light prevails, darkness will not give up easily. By understanding Satan's role and the angels who follow him, we can have a clearer view of the nature of the spiritual battle occurring around us. This reality invites us to remain firm in faith and to seek the help of good angels, who are always ready to protect and guide us toward divine truth. The relationship between angels and humanity. The relationship between angels and human beings is one of the most fascinating dynamics in spirituality. Since ancient times, angels have been seen as messengers and protectors, always ready to intervene in human lives. This interaction is frequently described in the Scriptures, where angels appear at critical moments, bringing comfort, guidance, and even protection. The Bible is full of stories where angels play crucial roles, such as when Gabriel announced the coming of Jesus to Mary or when angels strengthened Jesus after his temptation in the desert. One of the most recognized functions of angels is that of protectors. Many religious traditions believe that each person has a guardian angel assigned to protect and guide them. This belief offers great comfort, as it suggests that we are not alone in our journeys. Angels help us face challenges, offering strength in moments of weakness and clarity in times of confusion. This protection is not just physical but also spiritual, helping us resist temptations and stay faithful to God. Additionally, angels also act as intermediaries between God and humanity. They offer messages of hope and encouragement, carrying our prayers to God and bringing answers that often arrive in unexpected ways. This communication can be direct or indirect, but it always aims to draw human beings closer to the Creator. The role of angels as messengers emphasizes the importance of faith and attention to the directions we receive in our daily lives. Another interesting aspect of the relationship between angels and humans is how they inspire us. Many people report experiences of encounters with angels or feelings of protection that cannot be explained. These experiences often reinforce the belief in something greater, helping to cultivate a life of faith and gratitude. In this sense, angels are not just figures of protection but also sources of inspiration and hope. Finally, the relationship between angels and humanity is a constant reminder that we are part of a greater plan. The presence of angels in our lives encourages us to live with purpose and seek a deeper connection with God. This divine interaction invites us to open our hearts and minds, recognizing that help and guidance are always within our reach, even if we cannot see them. The visibility of angels. The invisible nature of angels is one of the most intriguing aspects of these celestial beings. Although they often cannot be seen with human eyes, their presence is frequently felt. This invisibility raises questions about how angels manifest in our lives and how we can recognize them. Many people report feeling the protection or guidance of an angel in moments of need, even if they do not have a physical vision of them. This spiritual perception is an important part of faith, reminding us that the spiritual reality goes beyond what we can see. In addition to their invisibility, angels can also manifest in different ways. In various biblical stories, they appear in human form, such as when the three angels visited Abraham. These manifestations are powerful moments that reveal the divine presence in everyday situations. The ability of angels to appear tangibly teaches us that although they are spiritual beings, they are deeply involved in our lives and concerns. This duality between invisibility and physical manifestation also has implications for worship. Many religious traditions recognize the presence of angels during worship services, believing that they join the faithful in praising God. The idea that angels are present in moments of praise and prayer provides a sense of community and connection with the divine. The invisible presence of angels encourages us to open our hearts and surrender in worship, knowing that we are not alone. Although angels are invisible, their actions have a profound impact on human lives. They can influence decisions, offer comfort, and even perform miracles. This reality leads us to reflect on the importance of faith and trust in something we cannot see but know is present. The invisibility of angels does not diminish their effectiveness. On the contrary, it challenges us to believe and trust in God's plan, even when. And so, throughout our journey today, we have explored the fascinating reality of holy and fallen angels. What do you think? Surprising, isn't it? Angels, as God's messengers, play fundamental roles in our spiritual life, while fallen angels, led by Satan, represent a constant challenge. Now, think about this. How does this understanding of angels change the way you view your daily struggles? Have you ever stopped to reflect on the spiritual battle unfolding around us? Remember, angels are not just distant beings, they are part of God's grand plan for us. They are here to help, encourage, and guide us. And you? How can you open yourself more to the divine action in your life? Leave your reflections and experiences with this theme in the comments. Don't forget to like and share this video with friends who can also benefit from this knowledge. And, if you haven't yet given your life to Christ, remember, the invitation is open. Speak to God sincerely and allow Him to transform your life. Stay tuned because there's much more to come. See you next time.